Brian Grimes, your real estate mentor, back with another action-packed session. On tonight's live, we're going to talk about how to go from the 9 to 5 to a six-figure real estate portfolio. So if you're new to real estate and it's Labor Day, you're thinking about, man, I got to go back to work tomorrow. How do I get out of this rat race? How do I get out of this 9 to 5 consistently and just replace that with rental properties, with cash flow? Definitely stick around, ask lots of questions. We're going to go through this in about 30 minutes. And if you want to rock with me longer and learn more about how this process works, I'm doing a live training tomorrow night, Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. There's a link right in the description on the YouTube channel. You can click that link and tap in. So guys, if you're new, like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment that says I subscribe, share the content with someone who you want to get value. If you're interested in any of our mentorship programs, we have our Boots on the Ground program. That's our full service done for you program where we find, finance, rehab, tenant, and manage properties for you. Just reach out, DM me, Boots on the Ground, if you need us to step in and just build houses for you. We've just, in the last year and a half, we've built over 100 houses for our mentees from across the country. So lots of firepower there. You can do as many deals as you want. If you want to join me on our next real estate ride along tour, we just did one, I feel like 2 weeks ago. It's very recent. We're doing another one Saturday, November, I want to say 15th, Saturday, November 15th in Philadelphia. You can join me. We already opened up tickets. People are already booking those seats. We only have about 20 spots available and they always sell out. So if you're interested, reach out, DM me, text me, ride along and get tapped in there. And then we have our plug and play program. If you just need us to find profitable deals for you right in your backyard, off-market deals, anywhere in the country, and get help in building out your real estate investing team, your contractors, your lenders, your architects, your engineers, and get through your first couple of deals, just reach out about that. So let's get straight into this, guys. We're going to cover the 9 to 5 wealth dilemma, a 3-step blueprint for you guys to get out of the 9 to 5. And that's what I want for all of you guys. And then some of the obstacles that you will face as you try to navigate scaling your way out of the 9 to 5, which we've all had to do. We've all had to go through this process. For those of us who've done it successfully. So definitely stick around, ask lots of questions, drop them in the chat, drop them in the comment section. So the 9 to 5 wealth dilemma, which is worth talking about once again on Labor Day. The first issue with the 9 to 5 is just getting stuck. They say the 9 to 5 that the salary is the drug that they give you to forget your dreams in many ways. And I know a lot of us, we love what we do. We love our 9 to 5. Many people will tell me that, Brian, I actually don't want to stop. I want to keep going. And that's, to me, great. You should keep going if you like what you do. But we have to take the pressure off. You'll like your job a lot more when you don't need to get up and go to work every day, when you have enough cash flow to cover your necessary bills. So getting stuck is the issue for most people with the 9 to 5. You will resent whatever you are dependent on. If your parent sends you money and they give you money to take care of your stuff, eventually you'll start to resent them. That's why a lot of people resent the government. If you go to people who are on low-income housing subsidies and different things, they often talk negatively about the government, because when you are dependent on anything, you resent it naturally. You start to think, well, why don't you just give me the money? Why I got to do anything for it? And you got it. There's all these attitudes that will develop from the 9 to 5 and from just feeling stuck. And we've all gone through this. I mean, I resented the hell out of my job, even though it ended up funding my financial empire through real estate. Like, I ended up funding it and getting me started and being that backbone that I needed. And that's what we're here to talk about tonight. So just getting stuck, going above your means, taking every raise and increasing your spending habits, getting new cars, getting all these things that just keep you trapped in the 9 to 5. That is the number one problem with it. Outside of that, there's not that much of a problem. So once you develop a plan to get out, the 9 to 5 actually starts to do this. It starts to finance your freedom. So what the 9 to 5 really should be there for, if you're leveraging it correctly, is to finance your real estate empire, to finance your freedom. Even if you are a stock trader or an investor, it would be the money coming from the 9 to 5, setting yourself up to do one thing, which is pay yourself first. So instead of paying the rent, the rent man, the landlord, paying the car dealership for the financing on the car, paying the grocer, paying the barber, paying everybody. Instead of paying everybody else, taking every bit or a small piece of every check that you get, even as little as 10%, taking that, putting that in a separate account. And the only way to touch that account is to put that money into real estate or some type of asset or investment that's going to improve your financial future. So utilizing the 9 to 5 in a way where every check that comes in is not just getting by or increasing your means, increasing your lifestyle, but it becomes saving that money and stacking that money up so that you can invest in something to get out. Because then you can start to look at your job as something that finances your freedom, not something that just keeps you moving from week to week, from month to month. Because that's how most people, the average American, I think, has $1,000 or less saved in the bank account. They have no savings. So if you just do this principle and start to pay yourself first, even if you can't, I know there's somebody out there that says, well, Brian, I'm living paycheck to paycheck right now. I can't, I don't have nothing. I would challenge you to look at your spending habits. You could probably trim 10% of your spending, no matter who you are, and start to save that. But even if that is your situation and you're strapped, people tend to earn more money as time goes. They do tend to get raises. They do tend to pick up more skills and get higher paying jobs. Just stop increasing your living standards for a couple of years. And as you start to make more money, save all of it, all of it. 10% is a minimum. You should actually, when I started this principle of saving 10%, which did not come from me, by the way, guys, like these are principles that I picked up that are tried and true, that have been around since the beginning of time. If you start to pay yourself 10%, what happens is it starts to feel easy. You start to find more ways to save. You start to get bigger pay increases. Before you know it, you're saving 30 to 40% of every check. And you start to get out faster. You start to stack up your capital faster. For those who don't have 25K, 20 to 20, it used to be 20,000. Now I feel like it should be 25,000 with today's inflation. For those who don't have $25,000 cash saved, the first skill you need to build as a real estate investor is how to save $25,000 cash. Because what will happen is once you get your 25K to get your first couple of deals, the property won't need to kick off enough cash flow to stack you back up to 25K. You'll save another 25K, and then your rental income will stack you back up faster. So you're building a muscle and a skill set. It's called how to save $25,000. So build that skill set, and that skill set will never leave you. As it never leaves, you'll have more and more money to invest in real estate. But this is going to happen when you start to view your 9 to 5 correctly, which is why it's not your enemy. It's just maybe not being utilized correctly. And then another thing to think about is banks love 9 to 5ers. Why do banks love 9 to 5ers? Because the bank does like that stable income. The bank's biggest concern are really two things: credit and cash reserves. Credit and cash reserves, debt service. So they want to see that you have the credit and the liquidity to service debt. If you had no 9 to 5, they would want to see at least 12 months of debt service, meaning if your mortgage was $1,000 a month, they would want to see that you have 12 months of that, $12,000, maybe $15,000 sitting in a separate account, ready to service any debt before they would lend you money. Having the 9 to 5 gives you enough money through the form of a stream of income where you have money coming in. Lenders are more likely to lend to you when you have money coming in, when you have cash flow, which is really what your job is. You're just getting that cash flow by trading your time for money. We want to teach you how to do it through real estate, where you can get paid over and over again for what you did, not for what you're doing. So now you're not consistently trading your time for money. You're just investing your time into an asset that can pay you money for life. Guys, if you're getting value, like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment that says I subscribe, share the content with someone who you want to get value. If you're interested in any of our programs, once again, you can come rock with me tomorrow night to learn about our done for you real estate investing programs. A lot of people reach out and they're like, I have more questions. How do I learn more? Rock with us tomorrow night, Tuesday night. I put a link in the description in the bio, so you can click that link and you can join. But we do those live. I will walk you through done for you investing, how you can invest anywhere in the country really today and make money, either through buying and flipping or buying and holding, maybe even wholesaling if you want to. But in order to do all these things, you have to pick up certain skill sets. You have to learn how to find profitable deals and at times how to get them off market in tougher markets. So make sure you reach out about that if you're interested in our Boots on the Ground program. Once again, we find, finance, rehab, tenant, and manage properties for you. So it's all done for you. For busy investors who have a little bit of capital to play with, you don't want to seek out done for you investing with 10K. With 10K, I would say wholesale. Do something a little bit lighter. And I've had people come in wholesale, make 30, 40,000, and then they go out and buy their first multifamily property. That would be a better strategy. But if you have capital and you're just too busy, which is actually a lot of people these days, busy with the kids, busy with the aging parents, busy with travel or just anything, your hobbies, just anything, the job, the 9 to 5 will keep most people super busy. And you still want to build wealth through real estate, but you don't want to do it yourself. We have that done for you aspect. We don't really do a lot of course stuff. We do have courses. If you want to get access to really, I'll call it $1 million worth of real estate game, because there's over $1 million of losses in the course content. It's not the wins that really will help you. I could show you wins all the time if I wanted to, but it's really losses. It's really mistakes that you will learn from. Having another investor make a $20,000 mistake that you don't have to make. That's the value. If you want to tap into that, just click the link in bio, click the link in the description, tap into our 24/7 cash flow community, whether you're on YouTube or IG. Let's get into these 3-step blueprint. The first step is always house hacking. So if you've never done a deal before, if you're brand new to real estate, the first thing, and you're at a 9 to 5, even if you're making 30K, 40K, first thing you need to be thinking about is house hacking. You need to think about, how can I get my hands on the biggest multifamily property possible? Triplex, quadplex, it could be a duplex if the bed bath count is correct. Maybe with another basement unit. I'm gonna live in the basement, rent out the 2 units above me. Cash flow target on a big multi like this, you should be looking for at least $1,000 a month or thereabout in cash flow potential from this project, or the ability to live for free. If I'm gonna live in one of the units, maybe I'm not cash flowing, but the other 2 units are covering my mortgage. So I'm living for free. If I live for free, now I can save 50 to 60% of every check immediately. I'm gonna stack up and I'm out of the rat race right there. House hacking is cool because you only need 3.5% down, and there are ways to get that even lower. There are also down payment assistance programs that can get that down to 0, down. So house hacking is what you should be thinking about. If you don't know how to house hack, click the link in bio, click the link in the description. The course content you can tap into for $27. Tap in, learn the process, go out and execute, and get yourself a good deal, because that first deal will set you up very well. The second step, once you get your house hack done, and I would say the house hack's the first step, because every successful investor I've spoken with has house hacked first. Everyone. The next one I would do is I would do the BRRRR strategy. I would go out and buy fixer-uppers, connect with lenders, get them rehabbed, rent them out, Section 8 them, room rentals, market rentals, co-living. And then I would take those properties and I would repeat that process, refinance out of it, get my money back, and do another. I would start doing this right after my house hack. So I might house hack this month, and then 6 months from now, I'm in my first BRRRR deal. I'm going to start doing this process because it's scalable. It's faster to just park money in deals, just run around and keep slapping down 10 to 20% per deal, really 20% or more. But at some point, you'll run out of money with that strategy. You need a strategy where you can take small amounts of capital from the 9 to 5, $20,000, $30,000, and you can leverage that into $250,000 to $300,000 worth of control through construction lenders. But the only way you're going to get that money is with that job income early on, until the lenders trust you. Once they see you've done a couple of deals, you won't need the 9 to 5 anymore. If you had 10 properties and you could show a track record of doing this, they wouldn't care. They would only look for cash reserves and credit score. They'll stop looking for W-2 income. So you need to get the experience of the BRRRR strategy so that you can scale as you exit the 9 to 5. They're not necessarily, a construction lender is not necessarily going to give you the money if you have 5 rental properties. But if they ask you, and you don't know how to answer, but they ask you, hey, have you done any rehabs? And you're like, not really. I usually just buy turnkey, but I want, you know, a $500,000 construction loan. They're probably not going to do it. And then I would start to scale up in year 2 and beyond. At year 2 and beyond, you will have enough experience, even if you're a complete beginner now, to start to scale your way to the next level. So I would actually focus on, in year 2 and beyond, it could be year 3, depending on your speed. How do I scale this thing? How do I do more deals? How do I buy from the auctions? How do I get lower to the ground? How do I go off market? I would start to build it out and scale it up. This game goes, the growth is exponential in this game. So year 1, you may do 1 deal or 2 deals. Year 2, you could do 4 to 8. Year 3, you could do 20 to 30, because it becomes the same thing over and over again, the same skill set. So I would definitely be focusing on that. Guys, if you're getting value, like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment that says I subscribe, share the content with someone who you want to get value. If you're interested in our done for you real estate programs, our boots on the ground program, we'll just find, finance, rehab, tenant, and manage for you. We've done hundreds of deals through this program. Definitely reach out about that. And then we have our plug and play program. If you just want us to find profitable deals for you and help you to build out in your backyard. We've helped people to do ground up deals. We've helped people to do 10, 15, 20 deals in a year right in their backyard. If you're interested in that, reach out about our plug and play program. That's newer. And we've been scaling different locations, and it's been very interesting. It's starting to yield really good results. So definitely reach out about that. We got a question for a beginner. Would you buy anything with a commercial storefront? 2 units on top, commercial at the bottom. I think the commercial storefront question is really a matter of, it's a matter of vision. Do you have a vision for the storefront? There's some people with that commercial vision. Hey, I'm going to put a barbershop here. I'm going to put a laundry, spot here. We're going to do a wash and fold. We're going to do a convenience store. Some people have that vision. I didn't necessarily have that vision when I was starting. I have a mentor who has that vision. He's put nightclubs and done different things, like many different strategies in the commercial spaces with lots of success. He's done freaking, what would it be like? Not like a Fridays, but like an Applebee's, and like he dropped like an Applebee's in Harlem. Like he's done like bigger commercial level things. Always had that vision. So if I wanted to do one of those, I would go to him. And that's kind of knowing thyself in a sense. Like I'm not trying to master everything. I like residential rental properties, long-term rentals. You can set them in. Some tenants you're going to get in, they're going to stay for 5 to 10 years and just pay the rent every month, cash flow, set it and forget it type of investing. And then focus on rehab, trying to build a durable rehab that can withstand multiple tenants. That durability test. That's more of my focus. But the commercial focus can be very profitable. One good nightclub could yield you an extra $5,000 a month easily. So it's like, depending on what you're doing, I think you can outfox a lot of investors if you have a vision for the commercial space. For me, it's just like, there's a component of the commercial space that requires business level management, because you're putting businesses in there. You're dealing with business owners now, not just tenants. It's a different mindset. It's a different product. And I think the biggest value in the commercial space is not building it to rent it, but building it to run that business. And that can be highly profitable if it's a good business. Could bring an extra 10 grand a month, a good business in the right location. So I would say in general, most people that I've seen who get the commercial first floor with the units above, they go and get the variants to do the whole thing residential, because residential guys think more residential. This is more business thought. It's not even commercial real estate, because there are guys who do commercial real estate deals. That just means you're doing like 50 to 100 units, but they may still do primarily residential. In the commercial space, they'll put a gym, They'll put a bike rack. They'll put laundry. They're going to do certain things on the commercial space. They might put a grocery store only to get the fresh grocer bonus, which got them a 50% increase in density, got them a high density bonus. So they could put 50% more units in the building. That's why they put the grocery store there, not because they care about it or they thought it would be super profitable. It's just something that is utilized within a deal. But most of them still think at the level of just renting out properties. So that's what I would say about that. Commercial storefront could be very good if you have the vision. It could be very profitable. If you don't have the vision, convert it to a rental property. If your biggest focus is just cash flow, for me, it's just set it and forget it cash flow. So I want a certain type of cash flow, one that I can put management in place and then travel and do other things. And the properties will typically flow. That's more what I'm interested in. The business aspect requires consistent focus. Somebody says boots on the ground. For boots on the ground, if you want to learn about it, you have to book a call. But I would say you need 25K if you're serious about getting started as a real estate investor. Stack up 25K first. And it doesn't matter how you do it. Like, there are business credit strategies out here where you can get 0% interest business credit. I personally know many, many people who've gotten over 100K, 150,000 in business credit and then started. What I'm saying is you only need about 25,000. So if you got 150,000 in 0% interest business credit, you could just take 25K of it, transfer it to a business bank account, and you can start to do deals. But I think you need liquidity with where inflation is, with the cost of construction, with how the world's moving right now. I mean, when I started, I had 20K. I had about 20K. I believe I did, or close to it, maybe 18K, but about 20. And that was tight. And I house hacked. So I would say for something like boots on the ground is really for people who are really serious about scaling. If you have liquidity, if you have 25, 50,000 and you want to do some deals and build some assets, boots on the ground can really help you. Well, the last thing I would want is somebody to get in the boots on the ground and I can't help you. So you want to have the proper liquidity. But I'm not saying boots on the ground cost 25K. It doesn't. But you need liquidity to be in a program like that, because we're going to start throwing you deals. We send out usually about 10 to 15 deals a week. Some weeks we could do as much as like 20 to 25 in some weeks. Like this week, for instance, is slower. Today's a holiday. It's very slow. But even this week, we'll probably send out 10 to 15. We just put between Friday, I want to say, let's say between Tuesday and today, we put about 6 or 7 deals under contract in the Boots on the Ground program. That's in like a week, less than a week, about 7 deals. So it's more than a deal a day. So, it's there if you want to really do a deal. Victor says, what's good? I was going to say you can do FHA 4 units for a year, then use the FHA again. Yes, you can. You can continue. I'll bring that up on the screen. What's good, B? I was going to say you can do the FHA 4 units for a year, then use the FHA again to a 3 unit, then a 2 unit, then a single. Is good for 4-year strategy with low down payment. Yeah, you can continue to use the FHA strategy. You just can't have more than one FHA outstanding at a given period of time. Or you have to have, if you do have multiple FHAs, one has to be listed for sale. And then they check, I believe, like they'll do like a 90-day check to see if the property sold to clear the other FHA. There can be those simultaneous contracts. Like, I'm buying this one FHA, but I'm clearing that. I'm selling the one I'm moving out of. But if you're doing the hold, what you would have to do is refinance the debt. Victor says 25K in good credit will get you in the field comfortably. Yeah, it's about getting in the field comfortably. It's not that you can't do a deal with 10K. Look, you can get a deal done with 10K. You can. But That's better done with lots of experience and ability to navigate issues. That's better done in that environment. You don't want to be in a stressed out position. If you're trying to do a deal with 10K, I'd probably go more wholesale creative financing. It's a better entry point. It's an easier entry point. Not easier. I don't want to say that, but it is, in some ways, it is easier because the cost is much lower. The cost to get in front of motivated sellers and pitch deals is substantially lower. And the nature of the beast of just getting in front of many motivated sellers typically will lead to a deal. There's this kind of thing where people always will view a realtor or somebody who's doing it as somehow more sophisticated than them. Somehow they're way more sophisticated than me. The realtor is just so connected. No, they're not. They're just sending out postcards and you're not. That's it. That's the secret. They're marketing and you're not marketing. Once you learn that lesson, you're like, well, damn, if I just market and get in front of people, I can beat other people to the deal. At times, there are more deals than there are agents. Actually, I would assume there are always more deals. I bet if I statistically pulled up that data, there are always way more deals than brokers. I bet you there are more deals on the market for sale than there are realtors. So there's an abundance of deals then. So if you just learn how to navigate that, you'll be like everybody else. None of them are special. Every industry has some rock stars, of course, but they're not the only one who eats food. And if you're going in to find deals for yourself, you only need to get 1 or 2 deals. You only need 1 or 2 winners in this game. You don't have to win like I know some of us have the mindset, like, I want to do 10 deals this year. And I love that mindset. I love growth mindset with this thing. And it's the right mindset. But as a beginner, if you went out and did 2 deals, it would be life-changing, transformative. And you can make 45, 50,000 doing 2 deals, especially like wholesale and doing some of these things. Stack up your money, work on your credit while you're stacking your money, come back to the game. So I would just say, find an entry point. Don't stop. If you have a credit issue, learn creative financing, learn how to get low to the ground, learn wholesaling, how to get in front of people and how to market yourself. If you already have the credit, leverage it. At least go out and get the business credit and stuff while they're doing this stuff, while they're giving you these limits, because I don't know how long that'll last. If you have capital and credit, figure out what your obstacle is and then get in the game. We'll talk about some obstacles, but figure out what your obstacle is and then go around your obstacle and get in the game, because you're wasting time. If you have capital and credit, you're like questioning real estate or overly skeptical, you're wasting time. The hedge funds are going to buy all the properties. Obstacle number 1, and you probably have some of these obstacles: location. Mike Williams, DM me, done for you. Just DM me and I'll get you tapped in. Location. Are you in a bad market? Are you in New York City? I'll call it. Not all of New York is bad, but New York City, the 5 boroughs, the landlord-tenant laws and how they're enforced within those boroughs is barbaric when it comes to how landlords are treated. Do you want to invest there? Also, then the cost and the relative cash flow for the average bear. Even if you had $1 million cash or $500,000 cash, why would you pour it into New York into 1 deal, maybe 1.5 deals? I don't know, 2 deals, versus taking that same capital, going to somewhere like Philly or Delaware or Baltimore or South Jersey or the Atlantic City Expressway or Atlantic City and grabbing 10 to 20 of them. And getting the cash flow off of all of them. It's better diversification, if nothing else, better diversification of asset, but also getting into better landlord-tenant laws, focusing on things like that. Same thing in California. People are suffering with this on the West Coast. Overpriced, very little cash flow, bad landlord-tenant laws. You have to pack up. You have to be able to invest out of state. You have to be able to invest where the money is, where the capital is, where the cash flow is. That's what the smart investors do today. You know what location they invest in? Wherever the cash flow is. That's their location. That's their location. And that needs to become your location. That needs to become your question. Where's the best cash flow in the country? How can I invest there and own a piece and then put management in place that, can maintain the asset, maintain some cash flow coming in? Because if you can just maintain basic cash flow, your property will likely appreciate in the right markets. Most cash flow markets cash flow because they're undervalued. Therefore, if you buy in most cash flow markets and values increase, which they naturally do in undervalued areas, especially today with how price shopping is and with where inflation is, people are choosing cheaper cities and locations more now than ever. People will move. People will migrate. So if you can get into an affordable cash flow city, chances are your rent is going to go up. Because America is becoming a renter's nation, more renters are being born because they can't afford to buy. The hedge funds are buying. So more renters are being created now more than ever. You got to get in those locations, grab a piece of the pie before the prices go up. What'll happen by you not investing in those locations, you'll miss it. Other people who are there won't miss it. You can be afraid of it. You can talk about how you'd rather do it in your backyard all you want, and nobody cares. And everybody will head nod you, and it won't matter. The opportunity is the opportunity. It's there when it's there, and it's going when it's going. Affordable markets don't last forever. They get built out, and then other markets open up. The next affordable market. Then you have to pack up and go to the next location. Or you're out. Those are your two options. You grow or you're out. You swim or you sink. The next issue is credit. So a lot of us have the credit issue. It's my obstacle. I would want a house hack. I want to do all these things. I want to do the BRRRR. I want to get in the game, but I got a 500. There are some lenders out there you wouldn't believe. You need more capital. You need more cash, which is why if you have reasonable credit or can get the business credit, you should do it now before you need it. Because there's one thing about credit scores, they're always going up or down. They're never staying the same. But with those credit scores, if you can get capital, if you're working with a specialty lender, what is a specialty lender looking for? They're looking for capital. Can you put down 40%? If you can bring 40%, we'll bring the other 100%. They'll still lend to you, just not at 90-10 lending. They might do 60-40. They might do 50-50. But if you have the skill set to get off-market deals, you're going to be able to find some deals that make sense, that can get funded through specialty lenders and private lenders. There's a lender for everything, believe it or not. There's so many lenders out here. It's like the biggest, it's like one of the most laughable pieces of the game. As you get deeper into it, when you first start, you're like, nobody will give me the money to do deals. There's no lenders. As you keep going, you're like, there's like a new lender every day. You start seeing so many lenders out there as you dig deeper into the space, as you start to research and understand, the game a little deeper. But if you have credit issues, go with creative financing. Learn how to leverage the existing debt that's already on properties. Learn how to acquire properties with lease purchase options. Start getting creative. Start leveraging seller financing on your deals. There are lots of deals to be made with seller financing, and it's happening every day. You just need to learn about it and start to implement some of these strategies. And in doing that, you're going to learn how to source off-market deals. Even as your credit improves, which it will, you'll already be in the game and you'll just be able to accelerate faster. So instead of taking this obstacle, which is a real obstacle, instead of not going around it and still getting into the real estate game and just using it as a blocker to stay stuck, you're going to miss out on experience in the game. And that's going to hurt you from an acceleration standpoint when your credit improves. Most people wait for their credit to improve, but they didn't improve. So now you got good credit, but it's the same you. You still don't even know what to do with it. So improve you now, get into the game now, and then allow your credit time to recover. In that time, you can accelerate. So by the time the recovery happens, you're like, I don't even need it, but I'm going to utilize it. I'm going to utilize that. Time might be your obstacle. You might just be busy. You might be busy with the 9 to 5. You might be busy with the kids. You might be busy with everything with life. If time's an obstacle, you have to go more turnkey or done for you. You have to go turnkey. If location is the issue, you probably want to go turnkey, out of state, done for you, out of state. If credit is the issue, you want to go creative financing, probably in state, right? If time is the issue, you want to go turnkey, done for you, property management in place, set it and forget it, affordable housing, Section 8. You might want to go more of that route. And then relationships can be a big obstacle, not knowing the contractors, not knowing how the city operates, how to pull permits, how to process things, knowing the architects, the engineers, how to solve issues. Those relationships can definitely be a real obstacle. And that's what I would say good mentorship is about, relationships. People act like real estate mentorship is about like the sexiest strategy ever that no one's ever heard of. And there can be aspects to that, and there can be ways of thinking that are leading edge. But the real value of any form of mentorship, anywhere, not just real estate mentorship, but any form, is relationships. Doors opening, getting connected to certain people or concepts prior to your natural arrival. Without that mentorship, without that guide, without that connection. So faster connections, faster acceleration. And time is money. So if you can, let's say you're standing next to your competition and they do 10 deals in 10 years, and in 10 years you could do 100, you're going to eat their lunch. By the time 10 years goes by, they're not even a blip. Actually, by the time a year goes by, they're probably not even a blip on your radar. You're like, this guy's still doing 2 deals a year. I'm crushing 20. The amount of wealth you can build will accelerate. So you just want to get in front of the right relationships as soon as possible. The right relationships will change your entire trajectory. Let me see what question we have here. TJ Westbrook said you want to tap in as an analyst. Am I hiring any deal? I am bringing on. I'm always hiring deal analysts and training more deal analysts. But we did just bring on a couple of people. Just definitely DM me. Mike Williams said, "As you have 25K 0% for 12 months, how will you pay back the car besides using the rent?" So you would do a BRRRR strategy deal. So let's say you could buy, typically if you're doing a BRRRR strategy, you're value adding a property. You're taking something in a shell condition and you're forcing the value. There's let's say you have a property. Let's say you have a property you bought for 80K and you put 80K into it. So that's 160. You're going to have financing costs. Let's call it 25K. So that's 185. But when you're done with that deal, bought it for 80, put in 80, it's worth 265 because you value added it. You made it a top of market deal. That's what it would sell for if you hypothetically listed it, or at least that's what comps are showing. Top of market sales in this condition, selling for around 265 at 1,200 square feet. So in buying the house for 80, building it for 80, taking 25K and getting financing for the rest, for the money to purchase and rehab, you can then refinance out of that deal. You can take that deal to the bank and say, look, I had this deal, it's worth 265. I only owe, 180 or whatever that number is, 185, or however those numbers play out, because they can play out in different ways. low ball appraisals, high appraisals, higher than expected, all these different numbers. But if it balances out, let's say you could pull out 20K. There's going to be times you could pull out 15 of that 25. There's going to be times you could pull out 20 of that 25. There's going to be times where you put in 25 and you pull out 40, depending on the deal. So you can structure the deal in a way where it makes sense. Or you could do a flip. You could buy something, do a rehab in about 4 months and get listed. If you can off that deal, you can get at least that 25K back plus some profit. So now you're flipping OPM, taking 25K, do a flip. I kind of went in trying to make 50. I only made 12 grand profit. Okay. But you got your 25K back and 12K, go do it again. And you got the experience of it. Go do it again. Go do it again. Get better at it. Keep fine tuning. Keep adjusting. Now you're able to consistently do 35K off of that 25K every 5 months, 6 months. You start flipping that. And here's the thing, you don't need that many coin flips, would you? If you could flip that 25K and make 50 to 100 grand off of it, even if it took you a year and a half, what else are you doing where you're making an extra $100,000? You're not doing anything, probably. Like most people aren't. So if you can make that money and build that skill set, more importantly, even at a dead break even, like you don't want to lose, which is why you want to do smart deals, do reasonable analysis. And if you don't know how to do that, get damn mentorship before you go out and, blow up with business credit. Don't go out and get 150K of business credit and think you're balling and try to run wild. You probably will blow it all. You don't need to go that big. Get the knowledge as well with it. With any form of OPM, not any form, I can't say that because there's creative financing, but many forms of OPM are a double-edged sword. They can accelerate you and they can hurt you. You have to know how to leverage it properly. So with that much horsepower or firepower, you need more knowledge so that you can wield it correctly and it doesn't turn on you. But that's what you could do is BRRRR strategy deals, wholesale deals for sure. Taking 25K in business credit and just starting a wholesale business. Because you can test, you can test cheaply in wholesale. You could test at $1,000 a month, hypothetically, if you wanted to set it up correctly, about $1,000 a month, you could run a full market test as a wholesaler. And in 3 months, you'll be scaling up, doing deals, figuring it out, dialed in about 3 months. And one deal can make you 15K, 20K. So it's like the recovery as you're, I'm bleeding down, but then you get one pop up. Now you can take that 25K business credit. Now you're playing with house money immediately. And as rates go down and prices go up, there's going to be more big cash out refinance opportunities. You're going to start hearing about more people saying, hey, I bought it. I put in 20, I pulled out 50. You're going to start hearing that. That's when you should get, if you're a sideliner, really afraid because you just missed the wave. Because the people that are in are going to run up 50 deals on you. They're going to run up 50 deals on your back because you sat on the sideline. And they're now in a position where the market starts producing cash out refinances and they're already tapped into the relationships and scaled, and you're not. By the time you catch up in 2 years, the gap will be closed. The window will close very quickly on this stuff with how rates are supposed to cap bounce, get down into the 4% and then rebound to 6% very rapidly. So that's what I would say. That's what I would do with it if I was leveraging it. But I'm glad that I have the perspective of many lessons within the game of how to kind of do it in a more safe manner if you're going to do that. So in my opinion, if you're going to do that, you better be educated. You better at least cop the $27 course and start to educate yourself on some of the things that you will experience at that scale. Because you're very quickly There's a difference between stacking up. Not that I think anybody has to stack up. I don't believe in look, saving 20 to 25K cash is a great muscle to build. It's a great financial principle to have. And I think it'll allow you to scale faster and further because you're going to naturally be in a cash positive position in your lifestyle. Your lifestyle means you're producing an extra $2,000 a month that can just be thrown at anything. That's good for you. You're going to be a successful investor, more than likely, because even if you lose your entire 25, you'll get it all back in a year probably, or two, and you'll be right back with more experience. Going straight business credit and getting straight to 150,000, that's enough money to really make serious moves, but serious moves can get serious. So, it requires a higher level of responsibility. Don't say, I didn't tell you. Don't say, I didn't tell you that. But at the same time, liquidity that's available, you want to get to it, because there is an arrogance in thinking that the banks, they're just going to be lending when I'm ready. It's like, okay, I've seen the markets go, shut down overnight, no warning. So while they're offering the liquidity, you want to be establishing it, establish the credit line. A lot of you have equity in your house. You have no home equity line of credit. Why? Why? For what benefit? You don't have to touch the money. Go get the HELOC. Why? In case you need it. Or if there's some market turn, they might stop issuing new HELOCs. Do you understand that? The market could go up really high, but then some condition happens. We're not doing HELOCs anymore. The whole industry is like, we're not really touching HELOCs for whatever reason. Now you can't access that liquidity through that format. So while you can do it, get ahead of the game, get in the game, and then get ahead of it. But with much OPM comes much responsibility. So hopefully that helps you guys to think about that. Guys, we are gonna, unless anybody else has any questions, we will put a bow on this thing. Hopefully that helps. My best advice is to just stick with the real estate. Stay with the real estate. It is the path out of the 9 to 5. The question is, what's your strategy going to be? Are you going to buy and hold? Are you going to flip? Are you going to do it in state, out of state? Just starting to get concrete on a lot of those things. How you want to invest, where you want to invest, why you want to invest. Do you want to be active? Do you want to be more passive? Do you want this to be mailbox money? And then walking that path conservatively. Get a deal or two done, learn the process, then scale up. Scale up when you're feeling comfortable. And I'm saying this from seeing many people go from zero to, doing anywhere from 5 to 10 deals a year from zero. And it's remarkable. It's definitely a game changer, especially as your properties start to tenant and you start to build a bit of a portfolio. So I would say just go slow and steady will win that real estate race. Hope that helps you guys. I'll see some of you guys, or many of you, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern. We're going to talk about the done-for-you real estate investing process, how we find, finance, rehab, tenant, and manage properties for our clients from across the country, and our entire process. Many of you will maybe come out to a real estate ride-along tour and see it hands-on. But yeah, we'll be going through that. So if you want to learn about done for you, just reach out, like, comment, subscribe, share the content with someone who you want to get value. And I'll be rocking with you guys shortly. Brian Grimes, your real estate mentor.